Hi everyone, hope all is well. Just a very quick video today showing how to crop and straighten an image within Photoshop. There's obviously a few different ways that you can do it. Initially, if we just look at selecting our crop tool over on the left hand side in the tools panel, the shortcut is C. If you're a big shortcut user like I am, then it can certainly help to save you some time, particularly when you're working on a large number of images. Alright, so you can see that we have the crop tool selected there. So I'm just going to click and drag in any way, shape or fashion, and you can see that that crop tool is responding to whatever I'm doing with the mouse in whatever shape. And it obviously, once I let go of the mouse clicker, it allows a preview of what that crop will look like. I'm just going to cancel that out. If I wanted to go proceed with that crop, then I just hit the little tick button there at the top. Otherwise, I want to cancel that crop so we can look at a few other options. If we also look at another way of cropping, obviously when I clicked on the crop tool, then you can see that it's come up with these little crop markers, but across the full frame of the image. What I can also do is actually click and hold onto those markers and then drag in any fashion. Very similar to before, rather than clicking and dragging, I'm actually moving the anchors of that crop. So again, I can set that crop wherever I like, hit the tick button and commit to that crop. Also, to demonstrate with this image, you can see that the horizon is a little bit crooked. Up here in the middle we have what's called the straighten tool. So if I just click on that, very similar to Adobe Camera Raw, it allows me to click and drag a line in line with the part of the image that you would like to straighten. In this case, it's the horizon. So if I just click and drag, you can see that that's now straightened the horizon. Now, a couple of options to consider. If we have a look up the top here, we have delete cropped pixels or content aware. Now, if we click on delete cropped pixels, you can see that it allows me to not have any white border or any excess part of the image that isn't actually going to be part of the photograph. So if I zoom in just a little bit closer, you can see that as part of straightening the image, I've lost some of the image, and all that's doing by deleting cropped pixels is zooming in on the image a little bit so that all that we're left with is the actual photograph. That's option number one. Now, depending on the photograph, you can also click content aware. Now, content aware is going to attempt to fill in those gaps in the image that now exist because of the way that we've cropped. And what that does is it allows you to continue to have the image at the full size that it was before you cropped or before you straightened. Now, that can work really well. The content aware algorithms are certainly working far better than they did when it was first introduced in Photoshop. However, just keep in mind that it won't work exceptionally well for all images. So if I just click on the tick box there, you can see that Photoshop is going to go through the process of working out exactly what it needs to fill in. If I just zoom in there, it looks like it's done a fairly reasonable job. Obviously, with the sky, it's not hard for the program to work out a consistent representation of that subject. If you had a very complex image, then it may be a little bit more difficult, but it looks to have done a pretty good job in this case. So in that instance, I would be happy to use content aware, but always be sure to inspect your image closely, particularly if you're planning on printing your image to a larger size. The last thing you would want to happen is that content aware to not do a great job and for it to be really obvious. Just a couple of other tools that are worth looking at within the crop tool. If we drop down the box on the left hand side here, you can see that we can select a number of different options, very similar to Adobe Camera Raw. There's a number of pre-built in ratios there, very similar as I mentioned. You can determine a width and a height and a resolution, in this case pixels per inch or pixels per centimeter. So that gives you options to create a crop or an image of a specific size. You can also select a ratio, Say for example, if we kept it or if we went 16 by 9, so just need to enter in those values there. You can see now that the crop is going to stay constrained to that particular ratio that you've entered in. And if, say for example, if you wanted to crop a 16 by 9 as a vertical, you just need to hit these two opposing arrows, and that will allow that crop to be a vertical. So very quick and easy there as well. If we want to clear that ratio out from the image and start again, then just hit clear and we're good to go. Hope this video has been helpful, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button at the bottom.